Hi everyone, my name is Mary Padehag. I'm currently an undergrad student at Brown University, and today I'll be doing a presentation on heavy metals and stormwater runoff in Camden. So I'll be discussing what exactly heavy metals are, and their impact in the environment and humans, what stormwater runoff is, and how it affects and how it relates to the flooding in Camden. And I'll be going into the specifics of our project and what you need to do as the participants to help us out. So what exactly are heavy metals? So we describe these metals that are toxic to the environment and humans, and they're heavy due to their high atomic weight and density. And some common examples of heavy metals that we hear about in our everyday lives are zinc, arsenic, iron, copper, mercury, and lead. So heavy metals are considered to be very dangerous and toxic, and we often compare them to carcinogens because of how bad they are for the human health. So typically, small amounts of heavy metal exposure doesn't carry much risk, but consistent exposure to heavy metals can cause increased buildup in the body and can lead to adverse side effects such as acute and chronic toxicity, liver, kidney, and intestinal damage, and anemia. This is especially true for children who are still growing and developing. So, when they are consistently exposed to heavy metals such as lead, it can cause side effects such as severe damage to the kidneys and nervous system, anemia, decreased bone and muscle growth in the body, and it can really cause severe side effects in the brain. So, as they're growing up, they'll have to deal with behavior problems, lower IQ, hearing loss, and or learning disabilities. And I also have here a chart on the other heavy metals that I discussed and how they affect different parts of the body as well. So heavy metals have become a huge problem in urban areas due to human activities such as production usage in industries, factories, and agriculture. So we often use products such as pesticides and fertilizers, which actually contain heavy metals. So we're getting exposed to these heavy metals just from using products that we use, for farming, agriculture, even in our lawns and gardens. And they're also found as byproducts from landfills, waste dumps, and runoff. And many urban areas share centralized water sources, and these heavy metals can leak into these water sources, which create water quality and safety issues. So let's talk about stormwater runoff and how it relates to the flooding in Camden. So, stormwater runoff is when rain or melting snow flows over hard surfaces such as roads, parking lots, or streets. And this type of pollution is really bad because the rain or melting snow washes a lot of the chemicals and heavy metals left on roads and other hard surfaces from human activity into these storm drains. And it flows into bodies of water that are made for recreational use or drinking water, which makes these water sources untreated and very unsafe. Camden's current sewer system is very old and outdated. It has a combined sewer overflow system which collects different types of sewage, such as rainwater runoff or human sewage, and the amount of runoff it collects can often overwhelm the system when it exceeds its capacity. So when that happens, the untreated water, the stormwater runoff, will often flow back from the ground into areas such as people's basements or your lawn, which causes flooding in residential and urban areas such as Camden. And that runoff goes into water bodies such as the Delaware River, where it's one of Camden's primary sources of drinking water. And like I said before, it makes these water sources untreated and very unsafe. Okay, so I'll be discussing what exactly our project is. And this project is in collaboration with Rutgers University Camden. So I'll be discussing about the main points and what you need to do as the participants for our project. So our main goal is to measure the amount of heavy metals in the basement before and after 3 storm events from June to August of this year. The heavy metals we'll be measuring are mercury, cadmium, arsenic, and lead. And there will be two types of samples that you'll need to collect. So before the storm event, you will collect dust samples from your basement, and you only have to collect dust samples once. And then after the storm event, you'll be collecting stormwater samples from your flooded basement, or like I said before, if your basement doesn't get as flooded often, you can collect them from your yard. And you have to collect your stormwater samples 3 times after 3 storm events. So the first storm event, you'll be collecting your samples. The second storm event, you'll be collecting your samples after. And then the third storm event, you'll be collecting your stormwater samples. So we will provide 2 sampling kits to collect the dust samples and stormwater samples. And the samples will be collected from your house after the storm event has passed. And we'll be analyzing for heavy metals at Rowan University in Glassboro. So in the sample toolkit for dust collecting, we'll be providing a freezer bag, a pair of gloves, a brush to collect the dust, 3 microcentrifuge tubes, which are basically just the tubes you'll be using to put the dust in, a mask for safety, and a piece of tinfoil, which you will be collecting your dust in. And then for the sample toolkit for collecting the water samples, we will give you a freezer bag, 3 plastic bottles to put your water samples in, a pair of gloves and Kim wipes, which you can use to wipe off any excess water that are outside of the bottles. Okay, so if you are 18 years old or older, or if you own or rent a house in Camden, and if you have experienced flooding in your basement or yard, then this study is for you. So your participation in our project helps us researchers to get a better understanding of heavy metal pollution and stormwater in Camden. And when we analyze your samples, you will get the results back for your specific household, and you will know what is the heavy metal concentration for each heavy metal analyzed in your flooded basement or yard. And you will know if it's above or below permissible levels. And the results will help provide information to city regulars to help them identify problems and help them take action on resolving these issues. Okay, so that's it for our presentation. I hope you found this very informative, and I hope you gained some insight from it. If you have any questions, you can always reach out to us via email and or phone number. And yeah, so I hope you have a great day.